Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It's time for the 14First Alert Weather Show at 9 here on Wednesday night, July 29th. So we are knocking this month out quicker every day. We have a pretty pleasant evening out there. The moon almost full. It's a waning gibbous. I think it was full a couple days ago, but you probably notice it's very orange because of the smoke in the sky. And what we're looking at here, at least overnight, will be temperatures in the mid-60s. And then a few more clouds and very pleasant tomorrow. And by pleasant, I mean not as humid. It's still going to be warm with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. And then the showers and thunderstorms move in beginning Friday and continuing through the weekend, which will bring us even cooler daytime highs on Saturday and Sunday. That smoke was noticeable last night. You could smell it. And now today, and this evening, we still have a fairly good measure of it over the tri-state, and we're expecting that smoke to kind of drift out but linger and then come back in over Friday and Saturday. So we can't quite get that sky completely clear. And other than just a few clouds tomorrow, it should be a nice day out there, but there will be that kind of pall or haze over the sky. Friday's the pivot day. We get winds out of the south and showers and thunderstorms rolling through during the afternoon, and then additional showers and storms will likely turn up over Saturday and Sunday. It's 76 out there right now, and all over the tri-state we have mid-70s as opposed to mid and upper 80s. The feels like temperatures also very pleasant too, really not an issue at all with that. The low this morning was down to 66, big improvement from 81 yesterday morning, and then our highs today got up to 85 degrees. So really a nice day out there. So there's our 85. We've started to ramp back down a little bit on those temperatures. Haven't added any rain to the picture, and so we will probably wind up July almost 3 inches below the normal rainfall. We are 2.43 behind right now, so 3 more days. I guess it'd be closer to like 2.7 below average. Sunny, warm again tomorrow, the temperature in the middle 80s. And in looking at the big map now, you see showers and storms out here in the Rocky Mountains. And if you look carefully, you can kind of see how the upper air flow is going. That's why it's drawing that smoke down from Canada. But we have high pressure right over the top of us, and so that's kind of insulating us from any active weather. Once that high gets out around Pittsburgh and keeps going east, the showers and storms will move back in Friday afternoon and then continue through Friday night, early Saturday morning. The cold front passes by, but that low will be close enough. It may actually slow down, kind of get hung up, and so we will have wraparound clouds and rain coming down from that low that may persist into Saturday night and early Sunday. The GFS has gotten a little more aggressive, with pulling that thing out of here earlier. Yesterday, it was the model showing this kind of grinding low over the tri-state. However, the European model, as I'll show you here in a minute, still hanging on to that idea that it'll get hung up. Because of the rapid or more rapid departure, the GFS model is netting about 1.5 inches of rain, while the European model, showing that rain kind of wrapping around and backing in, is also showing rain chances through Tuesday and Wednesday next week, scattered thunderstorms. And with that one, the European is only netting about 8,500. So it's a pretty big spread there between the two models on accumulated rain for the week from now through next Wednesday. My guess is some folks will see, maybe 1 inch of rain over that time frame, but most will not see that much at all. 65 degrees, clear overnight, 87 tomorrow. The 7-day forecast, no alert days on it at this point. The weekend, thunderstorms will likely come in overnight, kind of mitigating or reducing the severe threat. And then on Sunday, more of a scattered shower or thunderstorm. So of the 2 weekend days, it looks like Saturday will be the wetter of the two. And then our temperatures roll back up above normal through the 12th of August, and our rainfall kind of dries up on us too. This is Harold the cat. maybe with a flea or an ear mite, or maybe he's just putting his paw up there because he doesn't want to be photographed. You never know with a cat. Don't cross them. All right, let me get your questions here and see what's on everybody's mind here tonight. All right. Laura Gray's in there, first one, watching from Dawson Springs. Glad to have you on here tonight, Laura. Suzanne Daly is in Morganfield watching. Hey, Suzanne. Angie Wampler, hello from Vincennes. This morning was a breath of fresh air, but warmer this afternoon. Yeah, and you probably had a little smoke in that air, too. You know, it didn't affect the air quality here at the ground level. You know, like we didn't have sensitive for, what is it, unhealthy for sensitive groups. But you could look up and see that we did have some smoke out there. And if you look kind of across, you know, toward the horizon, it was a little blue. Cheyenne Hammonds, good evening. It was a beautiful day for your birthday. Well, my goodness, we've had your anniversary a couple weeks ago. Might be more than that now. Now your birthday. Well, happy birthday. I know all your buddies here in the Weather Cave, the Weather Club, will be wishing you happy birthday. I'm not like the morning show. We're not big budget here, so you don't get any donuts, you don't get a pony ride, you just get happy birthday from me. That's great. You know, that's the thing. People kind of outgrow birthdays, and I'm glad you haven't. What here? I lost my comments. Let me go back in. Anthony Coleman's watching one more night. Oh, from Virginia Beach, heading to Princeton tomorrow. All right, well, we'll be glad to have you. You should have decent weather for that drive. Take you, what, about Virginia Beach, 15 hours. You're going to do that in one day or break it up? Anytime I drive to the coast, I always think I'm going to break it up, and then I get about 3/4 of the way through and just think, well, you know, we're already out here. Let's just keep going. Ryan Nance, let's see, everyone loving the shout-outs. Last one, Ryan Nance is Mr. Shout-Out. Uh-oh, it's for the boss and his fiancee, Betty. This is the boss, Greg, and Betty for getting hitched. All right. Now, I don't want some sort of kiss cam drama here on the weather show at 9. You're sure they are getting hitched? Well, congratulations to Greg and Betty, okay? I'm just playing around with you there. I know Ryan would tell me he wouldn't set me up here to get somebody in trouble. Jeff Miller says he can breathe again. Well, that's good. And Jeff Miller took the trouble to put me up to yet another Science Corner topic, which I will get into here in a second. He's always working for me. Misty Sensmeyer, watching from Mount Vernon. Good evening. Glad it wasn't as hot today. Not looking forward to the rain. I know. We really are timing on this rain every weekend. It seems like we've got something going on. And then it rains, you know, or there's a threat of it. So there's not, you know, we don't get to choose. But anyway, that's kind of the way the old mop flops. All right. Who else was in here? I think we had, there's Bonnie Reinhardt from Madisonville. Good evening, Bonnie. Zach Seats. Any severe weather for Evansville this week or next? Well, you know, of course, we've been looking at the weekend for potential severe, but it doesn't look like it. Anthony Coleman says he makes the drive to Virginia Beach in 12 hours? What are you doing, like 80 out there? You got a fuzzbuster? How do you manage that? Virginia Beach. So I'm guessing you just get on 64 and keep on trucking, right? That would be relatively easy, but don't you have to, you know how, doesn't it? Oh no, I'm not AAA here. I thought 64, it goes either to Norfolk or somewhere in Virginia, and then it seems like in West Virginia, don't you have to go up and over? You go like to Bluefield, Beckley, and then up to Charleston and over. Isn't that right? I've gone to Washington, D.C. that way before they had the 68 completed, and you had to go to Charleston, then down to, it was Bluefield or Beckley. It was down in the bottom, you know, Virginia, down at West Virginia. Then you came up at, I think it was Front Royal, and then you went up 81. You know, there's nothing that's quite as riveting as an old guy talking roads, right? How to get from A to B. And yet, here we are. Libby Jenkins, hey, from Princeton. Hey, Libby. And Sheila K. Terry Lee, hello from Greenville. Glad to have Muhlenberg County, and I'm reading and trying to think at the same time and talk too. You know, to pick one. Anthony Cole, oh yes sir, through West Virginia Turnpike on I-77. Well, yeah, the West Virginia Turnpike, that's right. Okay, well, I mean, you would know you're driving it, so be careful out there. I've been on the West Virginia Turnpike. It's kind of grim, you know. I mean, West Virginia is a beautiful state. When you go up 79 toward Morgantown, the road goes like that for like 3 hours, and but it's beautiful territory. But it seems like the turnpike not as pretty. Maybe it's just, you know, revisionist thinking. Maybe I don't remember it. Of course, I usually drove it at night, so that's not quite fair to West Virginia, is it? All right, oh, I promised Jeff Miller. So gorilla hail, he wanted me to do a thing on gorilla hail. Well, so yeah, I Googled it, Jeff, you know, I mean, I'm getting lazy here in my older years. But this is a Reed Timmer thing. You had to figure it would come from one of those guys. And gorilla hail is just gigantic hail, 4 and 5 inches in diameter. There's nothing in particular about it other than it's big, like a gorilla. And I know that's very unsatisfying. You wanted me to drill down deeper and do some actual work, but that's what it is. It's gigantic hail. Sometime we'll talk about how that forms, but not tonight because I didn't read your email until 10 till 9. All right, let's talk about the atmosphere and well-known activities and how it affects those. So tonight I chose weather and baseball. And, you know, if I took a poll and asked you if you were more likely to hit a home run on a cold day or a hot, humid day, it would be interesting to see how the responses would come out. I would think most people would think that you would hit the home run on the cold day, and on the hot, humid day where the air is real heavy with humidity, that you wouldn't hit the home run. It turns out that's not the case. Cold air is dense, this is true, and the air molecules are closer together, thus creating more drag on the ball. So even if you had a good connection there at home plate and it's going, it would drop and become either an easy out or an infield fly ball. And so typically cold air makes it harder for the ball to travel, and warm air, especially warm humid air, actually has fewer molecules. Now remember, and if you go back to your high school science classes, maybe you remember the gas laws. There was Charles' law, Boyle's law, and somebody else's law, but basically it had to do with as a gas expands, right, it takes up more volume, and the molecules, the air molecules, are farther apart. And the converse is true. If it's cold, the air molecules are closer together, the volume decreases. So it's a kind of a one-to-one relationship there, or a direct relationship. Cold, small volume, hot, big volume of air. And the humidity, even though there's water vapor in there, it does not provide the resistance that you would expect. Therefore, you hit the same ball, address it right at home plate, it would go out of the park. And we're not even factoring in wind. Of course, if you got a little wind behind you, that can't hurt either. But if we're just talking cold air versus warm air, you want the warm air when you're up at bat. This also kind of plays into the other topic I had, which and I've had this question come up a lot. We'll have thunderstorms and people say, man, that thunder was so loud, or it rolled and rolled and rolled, and it seemed like it wouldn't end. Well, that's related in a way to the way the atmosphere is set up. So thunder, as I think we all know, is when we get a bolt of lightning, it heats a column of air to about 50,000 degrees, which is 5 times hotter than the sun. I don't know how that was measured. I'm sure with a very long thermometer. No, there are ways to do that. And the air rapidly expands and then collapses upon that area, the void, and that's what creates the shock wave that we hear as thunder. And that sound wave then propagates out from the point of origin, and it sometimes sounds a lot louder if the atmosphere is stacked in a certain way. If we have a temperature inversion up here and we've trapped the milder air down below it, those sound waves are going to travel farther, and they're going to basically echo or bounce off of the inversion up there at the top. And so the warmer the air above the ground is basically providing a lid to keep the sound waves confined and down closer to the earth. In a related topic, and I wish I had a good picture, somebody posted one a few days ago, a weather person up in Cleveland. They were able to look across, or maybe it was in Buffalo, but anyway, they were able to look across, well, that's going to make a difference. I think it was Lake Erie. Well, if it was Cleveland, it had to be Lake Erie. Anyway, they were looking toward Toronto. And in Toronto, there's this gigantic tower, the CN Tower, Canadian Broadcasting and their network, and it's a landmark, it's an icon, you can Google it, CN Tower. And it's very tall, I think it's maybe 400 or 500 feet tall, or maybe even taller than that, and very distinct looking. And because of the way the atmosphere was set up that day, the image of this tower, more than 75 miles away, they could see it in the sky. It was inverted because of refraction and ducting, where the light waves are actually bent because of the way the atmosphere was stacked on that day. Interesting thing. I've heard the same thing happens in northwest Indiana. You can see the Chicago skyline inverted only under certain circumstances. It's not unlike the mirage that you see if you're driving down the road and it looks like there's water up there, or sometimes if you really look, you got to be a passenger. The driver has to watch the road. But if you look, the picture, the image that you're seeing is upside down, and that again is refraction caused by the way the molecules are in the air. Okay. Oh, Jeff Miller says he knew that. I can't get one past him. Kelly Cox, Jeff Miller in southern Indiana, that is rare occurrence, pollution, particles, humidity. Good for you. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't see the beginning of the thread here. I got to go back. Or maybe I missed it on the bottom. Okay. I think I got everybody's questions and comments handled there. Well, we're going to wish Anthony Coleman a safe journey back from Virginia Beach, and no tickets there on the West Virginia Turnpike. And I think we got everybody else. We got the boss, Greg and Betty, congratulated on their engagement. Yeah, what are you getting your boss for an engagement? You can answer that tomorrow night. We got to have a cliffhanger. We got to have a reason to come back here to the 14First Alert Weather Show at 9, right? Okay, I'm going to go do some more work here. We're still trying to get our computers to talk to each other since we got new ones. You know how that goes. So I will see you on 14 News at 10. In the meantime, stay safe and thanks for watching.